Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I was on the phone with the caterer, confirming the new headcount. 80 guests, Tuscany. Everything was locked in. Venue paid, flights booked. Even the welcome dinner menu was finalized. I hung up, took a breath, and turned around to see Bonnie standing in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed. "Alan," she said, "we need to talk." I knew the tone. I've known it since our third date. That edge in her voice that always came before something inconvenient wrapped in the word truth. "What's up?" I asked, trying to keep it light. She hesitated. "I've been feeling unsettled." "Cold feet?" I offered. "No," she said. "It's not you. It's more spiritual, existential." That's when I knew this wasn't about seating charts. She sat down across from me. "Julian says I need to test if we're really meant to be. The universe has answers, but I have to be quiet enough to hear them." Julian, her spiritual advisor. We'd met him twice, charged $250 an hour to burn incense, a 38-year-old man in linen pants who never blinked. I kept my expression neutral. "And how exactly do you test something like that?" "By stepping away," she said. "By removing distractions. Julian has a cabin in the Smoky Mountains. No phones, no clocks, just space to listen to the universe." I nodded slowly. "So you're going to disappear for a week. With Julian?" She rolled her eyes. "It's not like that, Alan. He's my guide, not my boyfriend. He's asexual." "I see. I leave tomorrow." There it was, already decided. Not a discussion, an announcement. I looked at her and said the only thing I could say in that moment. "All right, let the universe speak." The next morning, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "This will only bring us closer." Then she walked out with her yoga mat, crystals, and a week's worth of silence. The second the door shut, I poured myself a coffee and opened my laptop. It was time to start canceling a wedding. By noon that same day, I'd already canceled the venue. Next came the band, the florist, and the photographer. The ones we paid up front? Gone. The ones with partials? I scraped back what I could. Altogether, I burned through around $5,300 in cancellations, but I didn't flinch. Bonnie wanted clarity. I gave her the cleanest slate I could. The guest list was the hard part. I drafted the message with care, direct, and no drama. "Dear friends and family, we regret to inform you that our upcoming wedding in June has been canceled. We appreciate your love and understanding. Alan." I blind copied everyone, her family, her coworkers, and her college roommate. Last on the list was Leah Patterson, her best friend and maid of honor. That one triggered the first call. My phone buzzed within 5 minutes. "Alan, what the hell is going on?" Leah's voice was tight. "I assume you saw the email." Bonnie's not answering. "What's happening?" "She's on a week-long spiritual retreat. No phones." "Wait, with Julian?" "Yep." "She just vanished?" "No. She said she needed to test if we're really meant to be. So I gave her space, starting with canceling the wedding." Leah was silent for a second, then, "Jesus, you're serious?" "Yes." That night, I ignored the rest of the calls. Bonnie's mom left 3 voicemails. Her cousin texted, "Please tell me this is some mistake." I didn't respond. I spent the next day unplugging our life, changed passwords, locked down the joint Amazon account, disconnected the shared calendar. I made a note to deal with the finances next. I wasn't angry. I was methodical. She walked out to find herself. I stayed behind to find the exit. She walked in exactly 7 days later, like nothing had happened. Same backpack, same calm smile, a new crystal hanging around her neck, and a fresh henna tattoo on her left wrist. "Alan," she said brightly, dropping her shoes at the door. "I missed you so much." I was in the living room, folding the last of her clothes into boxes. Bonnie's smile froze when she saw the stack. What's all this?" I stood, wiped my hands on my jeans. "Your stuff. Figured you'd want it boxed since the wedding's off." She blinked. "Wait, what?" "You said you needed to test if we're really meant to be. You took the test. I graded it." "Alan, no. You misunderstood. This week was incredible. I feel aligned, grounded. The signs all said we're meant to be." "That's great," I said. "Unfortunately, the signs I saw said the opposite." Her voice rose. "Are you kidding me? You actually canceled the wedding?" "Venue's gone. So are the flowers, the band, and the photographer. Flights too. I emailed everyone." Her face drained of color. She looked at me slowly, piecing it together. "You canceled everything, just like that, without even talking to me." I shrugged. "You disappeared without talking to me. It was a retreat. You knew that. You left with another man to test our relationship. I just gave you the results early." She stared like she didn't recognize me. Or maybe she was finally seeing me for the first time. "Alan," she said softly, "this wasn't supposed to end things. It was supposed to help us grow." I motioned to the boxes. "Grow somewhere else." For a long moment, she didn't move. Then she said, "I'm not leaving. This is my home too." I nodded slowly. "Okay, then we'll do it the legal way." She stayed. Not just the night, the whole week. Refused to leave. Started moving her things back from the boxes like nothing had changed. "Legally, I have tenant rights," she said one morning, sipping coffee from my mug. "You can't just kick me out." She wasn't wrong. My name was the only one on the deed, but she'd lived here for over a year. I called a lawyer. He confirmed it. I'd have to file a formal eviction if she refused to leave voluntarily. It could take months. So I started the paper trail. Day by day, I documented everything. Photos, timestamps, inventories of what was hers, what was mine. I logged her absence from the week she left, emails sent, texts ignored. Every time she cooked dinner or folded laundry like we were back on track, I added a note. She tried everything. Love bombing. Left handwritten affirmations around the house. Whispered how, "This is just a spiritual challenge, and we'll be stronger after." I didn't engage. Then came the money. The Tuscany wedding was on my cards, all of it, but we'd agreed she'd reimburse half once her bonus cleared. Never happened. I pulled up the spreadsheet and printed a clean breakdown. "Your half," I told her, handing it over, "comes to $6,840. She looked at it, then at me. "Are you serious right now?" "I'm always serious about money." "You canceled it. You pay. You abandoned it. You owe." She scoffed, threw the paper on the table. "This is punishment. You're punishing me for needing space." "No, I'm charging you for your share of the space you walked away from." She stormed off to the bedroom. I went back to logging timestamps. That's when I found it, a crumpled wristband in her jacket pocket, pink plastic, printed with one word in neon font, Lumen, not a retreat, a music festival. I stared at it, then walked over to my laptop. If Bonnie was going to lie about where she went, I was going to find out where she really was. It didn't take long. I searched Lumen Festival, and there it was, a massive 3-day EDM and healing consciousness event in Tennessee. Light shows, DJs, sound baths, Molly-fueled yoga, not exactly silent meditation in the woods. Then I checked Instagram. Leah's boyfriend had posted a story that weekend. Bonfire, dancers, lasers. I tapped through slowly. On the third video, I paused. Bonnie, hair in braids, crop top, glitter on her cheeks, spinning in a circle, laughing. Julian was behind her, shirtless, banging a drum. His hand brushed the small of her back. I didn't feel rage. I felt confirmation. I screen recorded it. Then I texted Leah, "You might want to see this before you keep defending her." She didn't reply right away, but when she did, it was one word. Damn. I forwarded the clip to Bonnie's parents, to her brother, and to the 3 people who had texted me asking why I canceled such a beautiful love story. The subject line was simple. Her spiritual journey. Bonnie confronted me that evening. She stood in the kitchen doorway, holding her phone. "You sent this to my parents?" "Yes." "Alan, it's not what it looks like. It looks like a rave. It was a healing event. Music can be spiritual. Julian's hand on your back looked pretty spiritual." She flinched. "That was taken out of context. You disappeared for a week with your spiritual advisor. You lied about where you were. The context doesn't help you." She shifted tactics. "You're trying to ruin my relationships. This is vindictive." "No," I said. "It's clarity." She glared. "Julian says our bond is still intact, that this challenge is meant to purify us." That's when I pulled out my phone. I posted one message publicly. She left for a week to test if we were meant to be. Turns out she brought a guy and a DJ booth to the exam. The fallout came fast. First, Bonnie showed up at my office. She walked in with a bouquet of white roses and a glitter-covered sign that said, "I choose you, Alan." The receptionist called me. There's a woman in the lobby named Bonnie with flowers and a poster. Have security escort her out. I watched the footage from the security camera. She stood there for a few minutes after they walked her out, holding the flowers like she didn't understand what had just happened. Next came the money grab. She tried to move $4,200 from our joint vacation fund, the one we were saving for Greece. I'd given her the login months ago when I needed her to check a balance, and I hadn't changed it. Part of me suspected she might try something. I decided to leave it alone and let her make that choice. The bank called about the flagged transfer, an attempted withdrawal to an unfamiliar external account. It never went through. I had them freeze the fund and flag it as a fraud attempt. I confronted her that night. "That money isn't yours," I said. "You just tried to steal from me." "It's our vacation fund," she shot back. "We were supposed to use it together." "We didn't go to Greece. You went to Lumen." She went quiet. "That's felony territory, Bonnie." She backed down, but not before muttering, "You're being dramatic." Her next move was a digital war. She posted a selfie with incense smoke and a long caption about toxic masculinity and how men fear women who walk their own spiritual path. She tagged me. I didn't respond, but people did. Leah commented, "You disappeared for a week with a guy who calls himself a shaman. What did you expect?" Others unfollowed her. A few messaged me privately. "Didn't know it was like that. Sorry, man." Julian chimed in too, of course. Bonnie and I are connected on a soul level. This chaos is the universe burning away false attachments. I screenshotted that one. Legal gold. The final blow came in an envelope. Certified mail. Bonnie was suing me. The lawsuit was laughable. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, it said. Breach of promise. Demands $50,000 for emotional damages, $15,000 to cover her wedding costs, $10,000 for loss of future marital stability. My lawyer, Carmen Voss, looked at the paperwork, raised one eyebrow, and chuckled. She filed a countersuit that covered every angle. There was the attempted theft, stemming from the flagged bank transfer Bonnie tried to push through without authorization. Then came the defamation, based on her public social media post accusing me of emotional abuse and spiritual suppression. The incident at my office, where she showed up with flowers and a banner, fell under harassment. And finally, there were the concrete financial damages from the canceled wedding, all backed by invoices, deposits, and meticulously documented losses. We brought everything: the wristband, the Lumen footage, Julian's messages, her social posts, the spreadsheet, even the home security footage from the morning she left with her sage pouch and yoga mat. The judge reached a decision quickly. He addressed Bonnie first, outlining how she had claimed she needed a week to test the strength of our relationship, only to vanish with another man under false pretenses. He noted her deliberate misrepresentation of both her location and intentions, her attempt to access joint financial accounts, and her public defamation of my character. When she tried to interrupt, he dismissed her objection, citing the festival footage as clear evidence of willful deception. Her case was thrown out. Then he turned his attention to my countersuit, acknowledged its validity, and ruled in my favor, awarding me $8,000 in documented losses and an additional $2,000 for legal fees. $10,000. Bonnie stood there frozen, blinking fast. The courtroom was silent except for the shuffle of papers. She moved out 2 weeks later. Her dad showed up to help carry boxes. Didn't say a word to me. I haven't heard about Julian since the court case. Word is, he moved to Oregon. A few weeks ago, Bonnie texted again. The universe is testing us. This separation is part of the journey. Julian says we'll reunite during Mercury retrograde. I didn't respond. I just watched the message sit there for a few seconds, like it might mean something if I stared at it long enough. It didn't. I blocked her. Later that night, I walked through the house. Not out of habit, just to make sure the silence felt real. No more lists taped to the fridge. No more crystals on the windowsill. No more her. I'd already boxed up the last of her things, even the spare key. Dropped it in with the rest and left the box by the door. Some people wait their whole lives for signs. I just learned to listen the first time. Thank you for watching.